Idea Studio Live here. Miss Ginny's here. Wondered if anybody's turned it on their computer.
Just give it a minute. No one's on yet.
Talk though, so I can.
Oh,
Okay.
you know what? I didn't put that on Do Not Disturb.
Phone on Do Not Disturb. Joey's gonna check our volume.
Do you know how to do it? Yeah, there.
Mom.
Hi, Joey.
Go sit down.
When getting the camera off, I was remembering to turn my phone off. Don't want it ringing while I'm talking to you guys. If anybody's turning on, be sure and comment to us. Let us know who's there. If I can say hi. I get this picture in my mind of Sophia sitting there, or Bay sitting there, or Campbell and Noah sitting there, or Isla and Flora and Clara sitting there. So that helps me feel better. And Mr. Joey says I need to talk louder. Is that better, Joey? Okay, so I got to remember to talk loud to you. And did I see that Emily? Are you on, Emily? I'm anxious to meet Emily. She's usually one of the first ones logged on each morning.
Gene Clark's logged on.
So this must be a good time for Emily to be doing a lesson.
Michelle Brockway's on.
And Olivia. Oh, I have to thank Olivia and thank Olivia's mom. They put the coolest picture of Olivia up on Hilton Head School of Creative Arts site. Olivia's mom works there, and she had a very cool picture of Olivia with some of her artwork from this week, and gave a shout out to Idea Studio. Thank you very much. And I saw a really pretty, looked like maybe a little birdhouse or bird feeder that must be a friend of Olivia's. I think it was Stella that I saw mentioned on her post. That looked really cool, Stella. That's my granddaughter's name. And let's see, I saw my dear friend Jean is out there watching me. Hi, Jean. She's one of those businesses that's closed, and she's working by herself with her boss. So, are you going to do art today, Jean? Find a piece of black paper. We're using this is what we're going to do today. We have a window into someplace cold and snowy today. So, the weather cooperated. We got cooler this morning. When I woke up, I thought, oh good, because we're doing a cold picture today. So, we're not quite as cold as maybe upstate New York might be. I have a friend, Jody, who just went home as a snowbird to upstate New York. I think she might look like this up there. Did I see Sophia sign on? Is Alicia there? Hi. Hi, Sophia. Your dragonflies looked really, really cool yesterday. And I saw, did I see Evie's dragonflies from yesterday? I think I might have saw Evie's too. They looked very cool. They had cute little eyeballs on them. And let's see who else might be signing on. I don't know if Lydia and Patrick have signed on yet. They might have some online classes they have to be doing right now. And we're watching for Nick to sign on. Usually he's signed on each morning. And who else? Amanda and her daughter Sarah Elizabeth have been signing on. Are you out there yet, Sarah Elizabeth? We're going to do this very cool window into another spot. Anybody have relatives or grandma or grandpa or an aunt or an uncle or a cousin that might live someplace that's snowy? Mr. Joey's, one of his good friends, just went back home to Breckenridge, Colorado. So Tim's out in Breckenridge, and they have lots of snow because he was going to be skiing. Good thing to do with social distancing. He won't be near anybody else out on those slopes.
Well, the lifts aren't open, so he has to hike up the mountain.
Yeah, lifts aren't open. See, they're practicing social distancing. Your resorts have closed. So, but Tim's very healthy. He'll be hiking up the side of the mountain and just skiing down. So we're going to do a picture that would be right up Tim's alley with snow on it today. So we're going to pretend we're taking a little porthole and looking into somebody else's city. Maybe Montana, if anybody knows somebody in Montana, they might look like this. Maybe upstate New York. A lot of our places that sometimes look like this in the winter don't look like this winter. Who else might have relatives? Liza and Millie have relatives that live in Washington State. And my dear friend Gordon has his godson Rob in Washington State. I bet Rob and Dorinda look like this right now. So how are we doing with signing on? While those of you that have signed on, I can tell you what you're going to need today. We're only going to need our piece of black paper off your clipboard, your piece of chalk. But what I need you to go find in the house is a plate. Something that's round. And this is like a lunch-size plate, bigger than a saucer plate, but maybe not as big as a dinner plate, because our plate has to fit on our piece of black paper. Okay? So take your little piece of black paper with you, go over to the kitchen, and find yourself something round. It could be a mixing bowl, it could be a plate, it could be a giant soup bowl, a small salad bowl, something that's going to fill your page. We want just a little bit of space left on the top and the bottom. So take your black paper with you. We don't want your plate or your bowl, piece of Tupperware. You might have some round Tupperware, a round takeout box. What else would be round like this? A bowl, salad, looking like the baking stuff. Mom might have a mixing bowl, a saucepan, a skillet. Take your black paper with you. Go investigate in the kitchen. Find something that is going to fit on the black paper like this. And then put a comment in and let me know when you found something that's going to fit on your black paper. You want to leave a little space on the top and the bottom. If you can't find anything that leaves a little space, then get something a little bigger and it'll just go off the top and bottom. Miss Ginny likes when things go off the top and bottom anyway. Bigger, better. We don't want to go too small because we want to fit a really cool porthole to another city in our drawing here. So look for something, a skillet, a saucepan, a mixing bowl, what else? A colander might work, the lid to a pan, lunch plates. This is what we're going to need to start our project today. So in your kitchen, find something round. It's got to fit on your black paper. Uh-oh, I dropped my chalk. It's got to fit on your black paper. Well, preferably fit on your black paper. We don't want it too small, though. Mr. Joey found my chalk for me. So we don't want it too small. So find yourself something round in your kitchen. We're going to use that today. This is how we're going to start a project. So when you found something round, put a comment in there. Let me know you found something. Tell me what you found because you might have a good idea. We've found some people with mixing bowls. I know if my granddaughter was old enough to be doing this, her mom and dad, Charlie and Carolyn, are big bakers. And when I pull open one of their cabinets in their kitchen, she's got one of those sets of mixing bowls where you got a big one and a little smaller and a little smaller and a little smaller. Most people might have 3 or 4 mixing bowls like that. I think my daughter-in-law Carolyn has like 20 mixing bowls like that. So she could find any size we wanted. We could have probably outfitted everybody's drawing with Carolyn's mixing bowls. So look for mixing bowl, plate. Comment when you found something. Let us know, and it might be a good idea for somebody else. Hi, Dad. Oh, do you have your plate? Did you find a black piece of paper? My sister in Ohio has logged on, and she found a plate. See, everybody ought to be able to find a plate. If you only have like big size dinner plates, maybe you've got some paper plates that might be a little smaller. We kind of need something that's got an edge that comes down, but a paper plate in a pinch would work. The stiffer the plate is, the better. Our styrofoam plates, I think, one, are a little too big. If you've got your styrofoam plate in your bag. And two, when you push down on a styrofoam plate, if you push down on it to hold it, they kind of crack on the side. So try not to use your styrofoam plate. See if you've got something else in your house. So my sister in Ohio found a plate. I heard somebody else found a mixing bowl. This is what we're going to start with. This is how we're going to make our circle. See how my window into another city here? Now, ordinarily, my sister who lives in Ohio might have a scene like this outside, but they've been pretty warm. And I don't think you have any snow right now. So this would have to move up. Maybe my nephew in Chicago might have snow. Do they have snow? I think they might. He might have a scene like this. They might be looking out because they live right up near Lake Michigan. Okay, do we have lots of circles? Sophia, did you find a circle? I know you can find a circle in that kitchen. Your grandmother is the best cook I know. Who else would find something? Olivia, did you get a plate? Did you get a bowl? And who else signed on? Emily, did you find one? You got your bowl? You got your plate ready? Lydia and Patrick, they're probably logging on a little later. Who else is on there? Do I have Flora and Isla and Clara on there? What? I'm trying, Mr. Joey's trying real hard to tell me things, but I'm not good at reading lips. Let's see who else. Is Eva out there? You got your plate or your bowl? Quinn, Reagan, and Peyton? Okay. Are we about ready? Most people on? Have I got enough thumbs up that say they found their round circle they're going to use? Got a plate? This was a plate from my stack of plates, and this is like lunch size plate. So we got our circle. You ready? Mr. Joey is saying we got a lot of thumbs up, so we're ready. So I'm going to have Mr. Joey move the camera in so he can see what we're going to do here. Is that charged enough? Okay, we're going to draw sideways this way. Okay, does that see everything? Oh. Okay, we're getting set up so you can see me closer. I'm going to move our picture down, right, Mr. Joey?
Mm-hmm.
So we'll put this on the table. Okay, I'm going to put it down here so you guys will be able to see. I think we'll move our activity bag. Is that okay, Mr. Joey? Are we okay? Okay. Do I need to turn this way?
You're fine.
Okay. Mr. Joey says I'm fine. Okay. Everybody found a bowl, a plate, of something? I need to kind of prop this up. Let's see. Jenny's going to see if I can find a way to make this prop up like this. Okay, can we see it if I do that, Joey?
Mm-hmm.
Can we still see? Okay. This is my piece of black paper. So you got your black paper. Did you get your chalk out of your activity bag? This is just regular old chalkboard chalk. So anybody that's got a piece of white chalk at home, this should work. We're going to start by putting your round circle on your paper. It doesn't have to be perfect. We just want to kind of look at the top and bottom, see if you've got a little bit of space on the top and the bottom. If you got a little bit of space on the top and the bottom, if you want to be real particular, look and see if you got about the same amount of space here, then you'll kind of look like you're centered. Do you have to be centered? No. Do you have to be perfect? No. This is a really fun project because you don't have to be particular about anything with this project. And all we're going to do is use our chalk. But the one thing we're going to do is we're going to use the black paper to create some shadows. See how my snowman here has shadows on one side of him? So instead of normally, if we were using a piece of white paper and we were drawing a snowman, I would be drawing the snowman and I'd be painting the white on one part and then I'd be taking black and putting a shadow on the other side. This makes my snowman look really round. But since we got black paper, we can use the black paper to make our shadows. So as we draw, I'm going to talk a little bit about making shadows by not using our chalk or using our chalk really, really lightly. Okay? But the first thing we're going to do is create my little porthole window here. Have you ever been on a boat? They have round windows. I don't know why. That'd be a good thing to look up. If you need something to do this afternoon, research why in the world ships, whether they were sailboats or big cruise ships or little ships, look up why they used round windows instead of square windows. So we're going to make our window first. And to do that, you want to hold on to whatever you got to make your circle so it doesn't slide around. Just put one hand on it. If you're right-handed, put your left hand on your plate, and vice versa. Deb, you're going to put your right hand on the plate because my sister's left-handed. And then you're going to take your chalk, and we're going to draw a line around our circle here. Just like that. Okay? Now we're going to keep our plate here for a minute. Okay? So get your circle drawn around. You can press hard. It's kind of interesting as we do this project. When you press hard with the chalk, we don't want to press so hard that you break your chalk. And the harder you press, the more little dust parts you're going to get off your chalk. But when you press hard, we get this nice bright white line. When we press lighter, we don't get as much chalk on the paper, which we're going to do a little bit of that as we draw our picture. But before we take our hand off, I'm going to have you take your chalk and lay it on its side like this. I'm going to switch hands. Okay, Sissy, this is not going to work as well as you'll be doing it, but just so you can see better. Put your chalk on its side, and I want us to add a little bit of chalk. Not all the way out to the edge. I'm not trying to color the whole black paper in, but we're going to put just like our window got a little frost on it here. So lay your chalk on its side. I think my plate shifted a little bit. Go around the outside of that line we drew. We're going to, using your chalk on its side like this, we're going to put a little bit of frost on our window. It works better if you use the chalk on your on its side to do this, because I really don't need a lot of lines. I want it to look kind of frosty. Okay? Leave a little bit of black paper out at the edges, so we want to look like that. That kind of looks cool all by itself. Okay, how you doing? We got frosty window edges. I'm going to pick up my plate. That's all we're going to need, your plate or your mixing bowl or your circle. You're not going to need it again, so you can put it to the side. Now, if you got a lot of dust on your paper, like see my little spots of dust, you can take and just tap it off. And it might come off, it might not. No big deal. What we're going to do is we're going to use our finger and just smear it a little bit. See how it gives it this soft, not quite as white look out here? Okay? So take your finger. I don't want to smear it into the middle, because we want to leave our middle nice and black, like we're looking through the window. So take your finger and just where we put that chalk, just kind of blend it a little bit. Really what it kind of does is fill in all these little black spots. So we're going to make the outside get a little smeary, a little blurry. So our frost looks a little blurry on the outside of our window. Boy, if you're right-handed, it's hard to use your left hand. Okay. We'll blend this. Yeah, can't use my left hand too well. So you guys will just have to look through my hand. Okay. You got it. Are we kind of blended? There we go. Doesn't that look cool? Kind of looks like when we have an eclipse. Thank you, Mr. I couldn't think of what I wanted to say. It looks like when we have an eclipse of the sun, where where instead of you getting to see the sun shining, you only see out at the edges and it all turns black. So this is our little porthole window, and we're going to create our own snow scene. Now the coolest thing about this project, besides I think it just really looks cool, the coolest thing is you can create whatever kind of snowy scene you want. I put a snowman in mine. I put trees in mine. I put one big tree so it was close to the foreground like the snowman. And then I made little tiny trees so they look like they're farther away. I put a moon up in the sky. And see how I'm going to show you when I draw my moon, how it looks like it's got craters in the moon, like when we see a picture of the full moon. And then I decided to have my snow scene snowy. So I made all kinds of little snow dots. But you can create whatever you would like. We can think for a minute if you wanted to make just all snowmen. You don't have to put any trees in. I'm going to demonstrate drawing each one of these pieces so you can draw them with me. But if you just want to draw a whole family of snowmen, maybe you want to put your whole family on here. Maybe you want to put yourself and your family that you don't get to see right now, like your grandma or your grandpa or your aunt or your uncle. Maybe this would be a good picture to do for your grandma or your grandpa, particularly if somebody you know in your family and you can't see them right now, or maybe they were going to plan to come on vacation to visit you for Easter and they've had to change their plans. If somebody lives far away, particularly if they live someplace snowy, you could do this picture and mail it to them. This would make a great way to say hi when you can't actually see them. So maybe you want to do a whole family of snowmen. Maybe you don't want to do a snowman and you want to do a whole forest of pine trees. So we'll brainstorm some things you could do besides what I'm drawing. I'm going to start and draw these pieces and parts so you could then create whatever you would like. But one of the things we'll do is learn how to use our chalk so we get some different shadows and some different bright snow on it. So the first thing I'm going to do is put some ground down here so I know where I want to put my tree and where I want to put my snowman. Now I decided, instead of being Hilton Head, since I don't think we'd ever see a snow scene like this on Hilton Head, even during 1989 we only had 6 inches, so it wouldn't have looked like this. But I decided, since this was a porthole to someplace else, I'm making some hills. We don't have hills on Hilton Head. So I'm making some hills here. So I'm going to start on this side of my paper, and I'm going to make part of a hill coming down over here. And I'm going to put my hill down here towards the bottom because I wanted to have lots of sky here to put my snowstorm and my moon shining. And then I'm going to put another hill maybe coming over here. And maybe I'll put a little hill in the middle here. Now, I don't have to connect my lines. You could make your ground however you want if you want your ground to be flat. There are some flat places besides on Hilton Head. You could make a really tall hill that might be coming down here. Maybe you'll want to put somebody sliding down on a sled on your hill. So you can put your ground in however you would like. We're going to leave coloring in the ground till I decide what I'm putting on my hill. And then I'll know whether I want it to be a little darker because it's farther away or a little more white on it to make it look closer to us, okay? First thing I drew was my snowman. So how are we doing? Everybody got some hills in here? Give me thumbs up. Remember yesterday you all went on and gave me thumbs up, so I knew you were caught up to where I am. So we got lots of thumbs up. Did everybody give me a thumbs up? Nobody gave me a thumbs up. Mr. Joey says nobody. Go click the thumbs up so I know if we're ready to make a snowman. This would be really cool if we were really making a snowman. Would we have to put mittens on and boots on and coats on and caps on our head and earmuffs on our ears? And see, we can go build a snowman now and we're all sitting where it's warm and toasty and we're supposed to reach 70 degrees. We got some thumbs up going? Okay. I made a 2-part snowman just because I don't have a really big paper here. So I'm making a snowman that's kind of more like Olaf, where he's got just one big snowball for his body and one big snowball for his head. And what I did was I sat my snowman so he kind of sat down in this hill. So I don't want to see the whole circle on the bottom of them. But I pretended if I got a circle, part of it would be hidden under the hill here. And I made one side with a curve and the other side over here for the other part of his big body. See how I didn't connect them at the top? Because I'm going to put his head, and when you put a snowman together and you squash the top ball on top of the bottom ball for your snowman, then he kind of squashes down on top of this one. So now we're going to put his head on top, but I'm only going to draw part of the circle for his head because I'm going to give him a hat. I'm going to give him one of those nice little black top hats. You always see those on snowmen. I don't know where anybody gets one because I don't know a single person, I think, in real life that owns a black top hat. Maybe Charlie. Charlie would be somebody who would own a black top hat, my middle kid. Okay, so if I'm going to put a top hat on him, you could put whatever kind of hat you would like. You could put a knit beanie cap on him. I'm going to make a little top hat here. So I'm going to draw 2 little straight lines for the bottom of my top hat. I'm going to make them curve just a little bit. I'm going to put a little line up above that one. I'll connect them on the ends. And then I make a little box on top for his hat. Okay, so here's my snowman. He looks pretty cool just that way. You'll notice you're going to get all kinds of little fingerprints on the edge of your paper, which is fine. Now, I want, my snowman looks pretty flat right now, like a flat pancake snowman. I want him to look nice and round. Do you see how my strokes of my chalk kind of go in a curve? And I got more chalk on one side and less chalk on the other side. So I'm going to decide the left side of everything is going to have a shadow on it. So I'm going to put a little bit of chalk on the right side here. And I'm going to put my chalk lines in a curve, just like a nice contour, like they're going around, like you're going around a beach ball. So put a little bit of chalk on this side for his big belly. And I'll do the same thing for his head here. But we're only going to put it on one side. Okay? And I can do the same thing on his hat. I'm going to put a little bright white on one side of his hat. I could just leave it like that, but it's going to be really cool because I'm going to take my finger and I'm just going to blend from this outside part here. Yeah, I blend all the way over. But when I blend, I'm going to blend in a curve like that. And do the same thing on his head. Make it go around in a little bit of a curve. I'm going to do a little bit of blending on his hat too. There we go. Now my snowman doesn't look flat like a pancake. Does it look more like a snowman? I can go back with my chalk because I think I want to really lighten, make his, where I had my chalk, get a little more bright white right on the edge, and I'm not going to blend that in. Cool looking snowman. I like him. So you could add more snowman if you just want to keep doing snowman. I'm going to put a big old pine tree in. These are pine trees like you'd see up north where you'd have a lot of snow. Their pine trees have big pine boughs that come all the way down to the ground. Our pine trees have really, really, really tall blank trunks and a little bit of pine needles up at the top. So these are cooler looking pine trees. Northern pine trees look much cooler than Hilton Head pine trees. I'm going to start by giving it a little bit of a trunk down here. So I'm going to make a big pine tree first. And if something's big, we want it to look closer to us. And then if I want some pine trees to look far away, I'm going to make them really tiny. But for my big pine tree, I'm going to pick a spot and I'm going to put the trunk in there first. So I'm going to decide where do I want the bottom of my pine tree. I'll give myself a little line for the bottom of the trunk. And I'm going to put a little line coming up on both sides for the trunk. And just like the snowman, I'm just going to put a little bit of white on one side of the trunk. Now, here's what I want to tell you. Pine trees, lots of times when people draw a pine tree, they'll make a straight line for the trunk. And instead of a whole straight line, I'm just going to make a dotted line. I'm going to make myself, I think my pine tree will go up maybe about that tall. That makes a nice big pine tree. See it next to my snowman here? So that kind of looks like a good proportion. So I gave myself a little dotted line just so I can follow where I'm going to go. But lots of times people come in and put all these little diagonal lines on this side and all these little diagonal lines on this side. And then it looks like our pine tree looks like a ladder with pine boughs just growing out each side. We want our pine tree to look like it's got pine boughs going all the way around it. So I don't want to just see the pine bough on each side. I want to see the one in the middle sticking out towards me. So I'm going to start at the bottom here. And I'm going to make a really wide pine bough here. And I'll let it lay all the way up to the edge there and all the way over here. The pine bough at the bottom of the pine tree is the biggest. And then they're going to get a little shorter, a little shorter, a little shorter, a little shorter. So it makes what kind of shape? We're going to make kind of a triangle shape. So this is my bottom pine bough. Now, do trees grow so perfectly that each little pine bough is the same size on each side? No. Unless it's a Christmas tree farm. They work really hard to trim up those trees so they look perfect on both sides. But if we were out in this little porthole to another city here, and this was somebody's backyard where they built a snowman, I don't think every pine bough would be exactly the same size. So I might get a couple small ones over here. Now, do you notice how I left some space in between them? We're going to leave a little bit of space because that gives us a little bit of shadow instead of having them all filled in, okay? Now, I might, instead of two little ones over here, I might put just a big wide one over here. And then I'll maybe put some more over here. Have you ever bought a Christmas tree to go home and decorate and there's like a big gap, a big hole in one side of the Christmas tree? So maybe this one has a big hole right here. Maybe I got bigger boughs that go over here. Maybe this one sticks out longer and these are shorter over here. I want to make some go right across the middle again. And up at the top, I can just make it come right to a point. We'll pretend all the trees, somebody trimmed up the top. Okay. So get us some cool looking pine trees. That pine tree looks really wonky, doesn't it? It's got a short limb here, and it's got some big limbs over here, and it's got a bigger gap in between limbs there. But it kind of looks more like a real tree, I think. I like my kind of wonky tree here. Now I might fill in a little bit more snow on top of this limb over here. Remember how on this side, on the right side, we want to see more light? So I might fill in a little bit more snow over here. And I'm going to keep more black showing on this side. We got some Christmas trees going, or pine trees going, okay? We can take our finger and smudge just a little bit. The cool thing about chalk, I'm going to tap off a little of this chalk first. I'm going to stand it up, tap it off. There we go. Now I can smudge a little bit. I might smudge right in the middle so I connect my pine boughs a little bit. I don't have to smudge the whole thing. I can just smudge a little bit here. We'll smudge up the middle here. What do you think? Now I'm going to smudge my trunk a little bit to connect it up here to the bottom of my tree. And see, because I only put white chalk on this side of the trunk, when I smudge the whole thing, it looks like I got a shadow on this side. So leaving some of your black paper creates really cool shadows for us. It makes some places look not as white as other places. What do you think? Does my tree look too raggedy?
Yes.
Mr. Mark says my tree looks too raggedy. Okay, we'll add a little bit more pine boughs on that side. A little better. I like my pine tree. They don't like my pine tree, guys. They think it looks raggedy. That's not nice. It's like telling Charlie Brown his Christmas tree didn't look good. I like my pine tree.
Well,
it does look a little raggedy, but that's the point. Everybody's pine tree doesn't have to look perfect, does it? Okay, somebody send me a comment. Do you think my pine tree looks too raggedy? I'm gonna tap the dust off and try to improve it here. There, I kind of like it. Now, since I don't want this poor little pine tree, since everybody here thinks it looks raggedy, I don't want it left all by itself in the forest. So I'm gonna put a couple pine trees back here. Don't have much room to put one over there in this picture, so I'm gonna put a couple of them right here. See how tiny my pine trees are in the background? And that makes them look farther away. So I'm going to think of a tiny little triangle here. And I'm going to take my chalk. And I'm going to come down one side of my triangle, kind of zigzaggy down one side. And I'm going to put a few zigzags over here. I'm going to smudge it just a little bit. And I left a little bit of black showing in the middle, so it gets a little shadow there. And maybe I'll put an even shorter one on this side. And I'll smudge that one just a little bit. So I got a couple trees in the background there. Tap off all my chalk dust. Got a couple pine trees in the background there. Are you guys getting some pine trees? Maybe I'll put one. How about if I put one right here? Could make it look far away. Remember, don't fill the chalk in all over the place. You want to leave some little black showing, so it makes some shadows in there. Okay, now this pine tree kind of looks like it's kind of just floating in the air, doesn't it? So we're going to put a little bit of snow, put some nice bright white snow under him. I'm going to put some nice bright white snow under my snowman over here. And then I'm going to lay my chalk down. Remember on the outside here how we laid the chalk on its side? I'm not going to press very hard. I'm just going to press real lightly. So I fill a little bit of snow in some places. And with my finger I'm going to blend my snow a little bit. Blend some snow on this back hill back here. Now, my little pine tree that I made in the middle here. Okay. Now, while I smudged my ground here, I kind of smudged up my little tree there a lot. So I'm going to come back with my piece of chalk here. I'm going to add a little bright white chalk on this pine tree so it stands out a little bit more. Maybe put a little bright white back in my hill here. Okay. See how adding some more bright white chalk here made this one look like it's closer to us, or closer than these two. I want this one to look the closest to me, so I might put some more white on this big pine tree here. Okay. I can come over here and accent the side of my snowman again, give him a little bit of nice curvy white on him. And then how about if we make a moon? You could make a crescent moon, with just like the little tip of a fingernail showing of a moon. I'm going to make a nice big round full moon. So I'm going to draw a circle up here in the top. Okay, if you want to put a full moon up here. And then what I did was I only put chalk in a few spots, because we know when we see pictures of the moon, it's got all these craters on it. Sometimes it makes it look like it's got a face to it. So I'm just going to put little bits of chalk on my moon like this. I'm going to leave some of the black paper showing. Okay. How we doing? Okay. I'm going to blend my moon. Just smudge it a little bit on the inside. Don't need to smudge it very much. When we do this smudging, you don't have to smudge too much. But now it kind of looks like it has craters on it. I put a little bit more white right in there. Okay. Let you guys catch up a little bit. Did you get some pine trees Did you draw some pine trees? Did we make more snowmen? Did anybody add something to their picture that I didn't draw on mine? We're going to draw some little snowflakes. Easy to draw snowflakes. Just take your chalk, tap it. You want to tap it right on the end, straight up and down. Hold your chalk straight up and down. Don't tap too hard. You don't want to break your chalk. But if you tap it, we can make a whole snowstorm start here. Okay, this might drive your sister, your brother, or your mom crazy because they're going to hear all this little tapping for a few minutes. We'll make a little blizzard starting here. Okay, while I'm tapping snowflakes, you guys finish up with your picture here. I like our snow scene. Looks nice and cold. See now, if you thought it was cold when you woke up and you look at this picture, you'll realize, well, it's not really as cold as I thought it was. And if you've got somebody living up where it is cold and snowy like this, so it's not so easy to go outside, they're really, really stuck inside their houses. We all need to be staying in our houses, but we can at least go out on our patio or out in our driveway as long as we stay away from our neighbors. But up north, if it's this cold outside up north, they might not be able to even go out on their patio or their driveway. So this would be a great picture to send to somebody you know is stuck in home in their snowy places. We have a really cool thing that I've seen posted by the town. This Friday, they're encouraging people to do Chalk the Walk during the day Friday. If you've got some big sidewalk chalk at your house, go out on your driveway. If you've got a bike path that runs right by your yard and there's nobody out there, take your chalk and go out and draw something on your driveway. Make a big design like I told you about. My friend Paige has Harper and Fraser were out on her driveway drawing designs with their chalk. Go out and put some big hearts. Put a message, hi. Put a message, we're thinking about you. Draw big hearts, draw big smiley faces. Go out and decorate your driveway or your bike path by your house with Chalk the Walk on Friday. And we'll see if we see the town post some pictures of what everybody's done out on their driveways and their bike paths. And it'll kind of make us all feel connected. Okay, I'm getting the last of my snowstorm coming down over here. How's everybody doing? Did you get a good snow scene? Did you go back in where you wanted and add some extra white to make it really pop? I might put a little extra white on our trunk here and underneath our tree. Where you smudge where there's not much chalk, the black paper helps give us this nice shadow. Did everybody get a good porthole to a snowy city here? Be sure and post, because I'd love to see if we had whole families of snowmen or whether we had lots of pine forests, or whether maybe even somebody might have drawn a sled or somebody skiing. Maybe somebody drew Joey's friend Tim skiing down the mountainside. Somebody might have drawn their dog or cat out in the snow. I don't think our dog would like being out in the snow. She doesn't quite like getting messy. But take a picture, post your picture, show me your porthole to another snowy city here, and be sure and tag us. Tag or @ Idea Studio. Tag and let me see your snowy scenes. And then, since chalk is so fun, think of going out on your driveway this Friday. The town's doing a Chalk the Walk, where they're encouraging everybody to be outside on your driveway, staying away from other people. You can go on your bike path by your house if there's nobody else out there, and draw something fun for somebody to come across when then they're walking later on the weekend. Draw a big heart or put a big smiley face, and then when somebody else is walking out there by themselves, it will make them smile. Go out and decorate the end of your driveway like Harper and Fraser did. Be sure and take pictures if you're chalking the walk on Friday. I want to see pictures of your snow scenes here. So tag us at Sign Idea Studio. And Georgia and Everett, have you made it on? Have you done a snow scene? My friends Georgia and Everett that usually are here on Tuesdays for our homeschool class joined us this week. Don't forget, I've got a couple people out there like Sarah Elizabeth. I think her mom's doing projects with her. She bought a bag. And I think Cole and Tyler and Francois, I think your mom's bought a bag for herself too. So don't forget, adults, if you need something to do, you can order a bag too. We've got the orders up. There's a link on Facebook page that you can click on. You can go to our website. Mr. Mark's redone the whole website, and you can go right to our website at scartstudio.com. And there'll be a whole big explanation about activity bags there. You can click right on it and order your bags for this Saturday.
Limited number.
We have a limited number of bags. We pretty much sold this week's bags out. So be sure and go on and order your bag. We've done it in a great way. You have no contact with us to get your bags. We'll have tables outside the studio. We have tables outside the studio on Saturday. It's a grab and go. I'll have a list and I'll be inside the lobby, and you just holler at me who you're picking up for. I'll check you off, and the bags are out there for you to just pull your car up, grab them, and go. Next week, I'm going to be sending home a canvas or some clay. We haven't decided. Each week we're going to throw something new in here. We're doing clay one week. We've got stretched canvases stacked on the table here that you don't see, ready to go home one week. We're going to throw in a goofy, silly, funny project each week too. Something that you're going to find some materials there at home. First I thought of using toilet paper or toilet paper rolls, but everybody's kind of saving their toilet paper, so we won't use your toilet paper. But we'll find something equally as silly to do each week. So just something goofy for you. So make sure you go on and order your activity bags for this Saturday. You pick up between 11 and 3 here at the studio. We'll have them ready to go on tables outside, and you literally just drive up and grab them and holler at me and tell me who you're picking up for. So don't forget to post your pictures. I want to see everybody's snowy scenes so we can feel nice and cold. And Joey's about to tell me something. No? Okay. Tag us in your pictures so I can see it. Thank you, everybody, for the great comments, and we'll see you tomorrow. Bye.